No, wait.
All right.
That was good enough.
All right, hello everyone. This is the Campfire. We're starting a podcast just talking about music and other bullshit. Are we allowed to swear?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so we're talking about music and other bullshit, just like anything that we want to talk about. Today we're more specifically talking about we're recapping the year and talking about what we want to, or what we do expect coming in the new year. So, I'm Matt.
I'm Connor.
I'm Ben.
And so basically what we're here to do is really just kind of take our views on music and just throw them out there and kind of lead a discussion towards our opinions and what we found to be good, bad, intriguing, just really bland, whatever.
Absolutely bullshit.
Yeah. Whatever it could be.
If we're talking about year views, we are.
Oh my god.
All right.
So
let's hop into the...
start off. What do we got first?
All right, so let's go into our worst music. Worst albums, probably.
I don't particularly care for this shitting on people for the sake of shitting on people. I say we go most disappointing.
Most disappointing.
What did we really actually look forward to and thought that might actually be good? Because I don't think any of us actually
King
went.
and I
don't think any of us. I don't think any of us actually went into like someone like Kodak or like, well, I'm genuinely going to enjoy this. Like, we listened to that for the
thought
purpose.
about that. Oh, no. I thought about that for painting pictures.
We went into that for like the purpose of wanting to hate it. But like for me personally, what let me down the most this year was ASAP Mob.
Really?
Because
I agree.
that's
probably a big one.
Well, first of all, it dropped on the same day as Love is Rage 2, Saturation 2,
Which is another disappointment.
Action Bronson. There was the Apollo Brown album that day, and there was a bunch of other albums that dropped. It was like one day where it was like 7 albums that dropped, and I was actually thinking that this was going to be one of the highlights. I was, because not necessarily like the first one was so great, but I thought it was really good. It was pretty solid, and just like I'm a huge A$AP Rocky fan, and then it just didn't seem like they tried in this one whatsoever. It was really boring. It just like I don't think I gave it more than 5 listens. I was so bored of it. It just like very uninteresting.
Yeah,
Did nothing, absolutely nothing for me.
I don't know. When I was listening to it, I was going into it. You got A$AP Ferg, A$AP Rock. Some two big names in the rap game.
It should be exciting.
And
There's no reason that should be as boring as it was.
Huge, exciting project that I was looking at it, and I was like, well, we'll probably get some pretty good music out of this. And I was thinking maybe we're gonna go into it and we're gonna get a pretty good album, maybe top 10 of the year, just from the names on it.
Yeah.
And we go into it, and for some reason, A$AP Ferg and A$AP Rocky decide that they want to clash styles for whatever reason, and they kind of just didn't mix well on the whole track, and it just kind of just seemed like together they didn't really put a whole lot of effort into this album, and they didn't really want to put so much effort into this collaboration between each other.
Gotta keep hitting the mud.
Shut up.
The biggest disappointment for me by far was
We just opened the soda.
You just opened it.
Alright.
get it going. It's not
What were you
running.
saying?
It's not running.
Why'd you stop
I
it?
didn't stop it.
You did stop.
But we still have Matt's running.
We still have mine running. Are we just gonna do this?
I'll just
Alright,
do it
it's still
again.
going, sorry.
Okay, whatever.
We're running.
I just clapped again for no reason.
Alright, we're running. Okay, by far the biggest disappointment of the year for me has to be Eminem Revival.
Oh.
Because how do you have a top 10 MC
But
of all
it
time?
debuted at number 1.
I don't care where it debuted. It on my list, it debuted at like 70 or 80 out of 105. It's like, how do you have someone who's that high and you can't get decent production? You can't find someone like that's gonna listen over your album and just be like, this sucks. Like, how did no one tell him anything? It just
Yeah.
my
and if you also think about how like he literally talks about in this album how he goes and sits in his car and critiques himself. Like, he should have done a lot more sitting in his car.
I think everything from
my.
like the rollout of the album, where wasn't it like a billboard or something?
Yeah,
it was like some fake medical thing or
They're
something.
marketing it as a like medical kind of deal, like, oh, this is medicine, and then it was in the back. Well, it first came out is the background of some other guy when he dropped his album. He had here. I'll look it up. It was on his Instagram. But anyway, yeah, it was the background of his thing, and that's what got people going first. Like, oh, wait, Eminem's gonna be called Revival, and initially it had like the same styling as like the backwards E, and that got me pretty hyped because like, oh, we're gonna get the Eminem we know and love back, and then,
we did not get the Eminem we love
that
back.
is definitely sure.
I'm just gonna say it. Your booty is heavy duty like diarrhea. Your booty is right heavy duty like diarrhea. What are you? I don't know how an artist that credible wrote that down. My God. Was like, yeah, this is dope. I'm gonna put it in the album.
It was Eminem's manager, Paul Rosenberg.
That was right.
It's just so bad though because you got to look at him being credible as one of the best lyricists of all time, and you just didn't really come out with anything hard-hitting. You tried to tackle these big issues on Black and White, and it just kind of... It went over, and it just... I don't know, it seemed like he was trying a little too hard to attack the issue.
It's not that he really was trying too hard. It's just that he approached it the wrong way. The wrong way. Because, like, he's saying this stuff like he's the one affected by it.
Yeah, he's...
If you think about his albums in the past...
You can't play victim.
You think about his albums in the past, like, with,
where he's literally discriminating against everyone.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Where he talks about first-hand problems that affected him, like drug abuse and all that. And this one is just something that has nothing to do with him. Like, maybe he has a stance on it, but it's not gonna affect him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like Eminem is a guy who he garners a lot of respect in the rap community for his capabilities, even though the rap community seems to be primarily African American, and Eminem is, of course, he's a white rapper, and we don't see too many great white rappers, and Eminem obviously the best of all of them. And the respect that he garners, and I can see why he would try to attack this issue, and almost like he is, but he's not. He just hasn't faced the same discrimination, and it's just not a good way to attack it. And that was one bad thing. But even moving on from that, just the musical standpoint of the album,
it was musically it was so bad.
Poorly
it just
produced.
Didn't sound right.
It was. I hate his shouting that he likes to do. He likes to start off on his bar and then progressively get louder and crescendos and has staccatos over every word as he likes to start cutting them off sooner. And he just seems so angry about things. I don't know what he's angry about. I mean, he's produced some of the greatest music that you can listen to from the 21st century, and he just sounds like he's so angry with everything that's happening around him, which I think is fair, but I mean, he's just not going to attack it shouting at people. It just, no one wants to listen to it. It's a big turnoff for your music. I mean, he sounds like DMX on the recording.
I think the problem with...
but he's not 70, he's not in jail for 70 years or whatever.
Yeah, no, DMX is...
I think the problem...
Tax evasion.
I think the problem with Eminem is that when he first started, his whole career's momentum was all propelled by the fact that no one was ever talking about the stuff that he did. Like, you look first track on Marshall Mathers LP, he's talking about raping his mom. And it's just... Oh, yeah, I remember that. But, like, it's literally, like... It was just, like, shock value. He would say the weirdest stuff, and he would make it sound dope, and no one ever knew it before, and he was just, like, this rebellious kid. And that's what propelled his career.
Booty's heavy duty, like diarrhea.
Yeah,
but like, now that he's, like, gaining respect, he's trying to, like, go away from just, like, that rebel, and he's trying to be, like, a leader and a voice, and he just comes across as corny. He's done with his last 4 albums, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I dislike what he's been doing is going away. So it's not even that he's going from being a non-commercially accepted person, in which you literally see it in the albums, where he was talking about how, you know, you don't want your kids, and he literally says in probably, what was it, 2005, when he does his Grammy performance on The Real Slim Shady, he's asked
Earlier than that, but basically that.
Yeah, so he's asked if, you know, his kids listen to his music, and he's, you know, saying no, and it's because of this aggressive nature that he's always had, and his disrespect for power establishment and all of this other stuff that, you know, people who live in suburbs and cities and grow up in more middle class to rich don't really see, and he's kind of painting this picture, and all of a sudden now he's going into being a commercially accepted person, and he stops fighting the power that he's kind of been fighting this whole time, and now he's kind of just joining with all this other music. Walk on Water, I mean, it's a good track, but it's really, you could see with the hooks. It can't
be the highlight of Beyonce can't be the highlight of an Eminem album.
It's the hooks on it are supposed to be pop-ish, and it's just, I don't want to talk about it anymore. So next album.
I got another one, and this one might be a little controversial because it's not necessarily a bad album. I thought this was a really good album, actually, but just from the artist that it came from, it kind of let me down because his previous 3 albums, his first 3 albums, set the bar so high, and that's Kendrick Lamar with Damn. And this is not a bad album, so I'd like to put it here, but it really did disappoint me because just the way he rolled out the album, where he went silent for a long time. He said it's going to be a lot after he released the Pimp a Butterfly.
Nation will still drop.
After he released T-Pab, he said it's going to be a long time before my next album. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he dropped something on Instagram with the number 4. And
it started out with him.
It was the Roman numeral 4, right?
Yeah, and then he dropped the same day. He dropped
the Heart Part 4.
Everyone
Everyone's thinking 4th album, and then a Heart Part 4. And then the end, it said
was
you
better
got
than a lot of
tracks on
that.
I thought so. He was spitting on that, but I think it wouldn't have fit on the album just because he was trying to send a message. And I'm kind of glad.
Well, that's the way he always is. He's always
trying to send a message, and he didn't want like his beefs to get in the way of that message.
Yeah,
even though he kind of went with it with Humble.
It seems
but like, then he said we got till April the 7th, and then everyone's thinking April 7th's coming out, and then it doesn't drop, and then it drops the 14th, and there's all these rumors that another album's coming out, and then it sounds like a week later where he was like, yeah, there's actually no album, and he like let it play out, and then the second this album dropped, all 14 songs are 1 through 14 on Billboard, and everyone's calling it a classic after they hear DNA, and like, which is the second track, and it's like, I don't know if the hype got to me, but it's like, people really wore this one out. I did not think it was the album it was. I still think it's a pretty good album. Especially
Humble was a banger when it first came out.
Oh, it's overplayed and it's ruined it.
The, like,
radio
stations, top 15 whatever stations got a hold of it.
Yeah.
And it just got overplayed and oversaturated by the media. And it was something once that I really, really liked, and I'd listened to it like days on end when it first came out. But now I rarely listen to it because I'm like, oh, this song is annoying. I've heard it already 10 million times.
Yeah, I remember when
it's just nothing special.
I remember when it first dropped. I think, Ben, you sent it to me that it dropped. I think I sent it to Connor, and Connor said, thank you, this is what friends are for. And then like I was really tired. We just had a long workout, and it was like 10:30, and I listened to it. And I was up till 12 o'clock just replaying the music video, just like not even watching the music video.
Was amazing.
The music video was great.
That is still a good music video.
Yeah.
I like so much going on. It's just like, I think that might be where the album missed for me, is there was so much going on, and it all just didn't connect.
Yeah, it's more the fact, so when he drops Humble, right, it's so upbeat, it's very fast, it's very polarizing.
It's a brag rap, and if you look at all of his other albums, you see, like, you have Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, and Backseat Freestyle and Good Kid, Mad City, where it's just like more of his just like I'm on top raps, and that's just like he's just going off or whatever, and he's having fun. And then as the album shifts, he's maturing. And then if you like that's how it like looked for me. And then if so I heard Humble, I'm like, oh, it's probably the same thing. It's probably gonna be in the beginning, and he's gonna get over that like pride-ish feeling, and he's gonna like fix toward the end. Then he releases the track list, and like Humble's kind of right in the middle. I'm like, is this how the whole album's gonna be? And it was just, and the way like they always had like a pair of tracks. He had Pride and Humble, he had Love and Lust. It like all just didn't connect. It was like separate ideas, and he was trying to make it up as one big theme, and it just didn't connect for me. And I think the reason why this is disappointing for me is because if you look at all his other albums, it's like Section 80, you can't listen to one song without hearing the one before it and the one after it. Same thing with Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly. So
yeah, I feel like
so when you hear all these and they just don't connect, it just missed for me.
On his other albums, he knew what he wanted to talk about and the agenda he wanted to get across. Like on Good Kid, Mad City, his agenda is like hood politics, and then his agenda on To Pimp a Butterfly is like big country politics.
Mm-hmm.
And on this one, it's just that he seems confused on what he wants to talk about, because he's going from gun control, he's going to like his love life and how he was raised and how his relations with his dad and all that, and it just seems mixed, and he doesn't know what he wants to talk about, and he seems confused.
I think it felt a little rushed. I don't know if he did this on purpose, but like Cole dropped late 2016, Run the Jewels dropped late 2016, and Drake dropped early 2017. So all those huge big names just kind of like were out of the way, and after like Drake kind of flopped, like his album didn't do much.
It wasn't even
it was not
a
kind of
playlist,
dropped out of
whatever
it
you wanna
because he didn't want to be thrown into that
So, like, all those
he
guys
literally said it was a playlist,
Oh,
not
yes.
an album.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But after all those guys are out of the way, I think Kendrick just like, 2017 could be my year, and I'm just gonna own Billboard, and I think he literally did. He literally owned the radio, and it just seemed rushed. It seemed like he was almost selling out. The way he like said it could be backwards, where you really don't have a concept to the album. Like if you don't have like a connecting storyline, then literally any album could be playing in any order.
Yeah. One thing I didn't care much for was tracks like XXX.
I think
still
was that the one with U2?
Yeah, I don't know if U2 and Kendrick Lamar mix. Actually, I do know they don't mix. But
well, no. I don't know if you've heard the new U2 album that came out.
It did sample that song,
It
right?
did sample that
I did not
song,
hear that.
and I think that on their album they play it off so much better, because
They
they
did.
treated Kendrick like he was just like a sample rather than
A feature.
a feature, because
Kendrick was more part of the beat instead of part of the vocals almost.
yeah, well,
And
that's what I'm saying.
the way
is,
they
it's just-
introduce their U2's part into their song, I think it's called American Soul or something like that, from Songs of Experience, they introduce it so much better in the context of their album. Now, I'm not saying that that album was amazing, but I'm saying that it was good.
more conceptual.
It was more better fitting in the context of U2's album than Kendrick's album.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so that's just a song I didn't personally care for. I kind of was really excited when I heard the first, I want to say 3 songs, which is
Yeah, Blood was cool.
Blood.
That wasn't really a song.
Blood-
that
it was- Blood going into DNA was cool.
DNA,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Element.
and
All dope.
I thought I was like, it's kind of a cool little rap.
I did not like
It's
Really?
a lower key rap, and I thought that was pretty cool. You know, he's just more spitting on it, and he wasn't so much using. It almost kind of reminds me of using old school New York rap, as in you don't let the beat come over and change and cut so much, whereas you kind of just let your lines flow over the beat, and your voice should be the center of it. And I thought that was kind of polarizing for it. It was an interesting little track that I thought, either you really like it or you really hate it, and it's just a good little cut on there that I thought was pretty good. But like they said, it just doesn't follow a very straight line, it kind of takes a lot of curves, and in the end, it really just doesn't fully connect. And also, releasing the collector's edition to play it backwards
God.
didn't change anything for me,
You
even
played
though
sideways.
even though people have said it makes it sound different. I mean, if you really want to do that, just play the thing and literally reverse the songs. It wasn't necessarily necessary for that to be there.
I think the middle 10 tracks are all interchangeable. I think Duckworth, the way how it starts off is as we're gonna throw it in reverse, and then how it ends with everything playing backwards, and then Blood, how it's just kind of like where it kind of ends in a gunshot. Like those two are like really like the ones that make it backwards. Like I think you could throw the middle whatever in any order, and as long as you have Blood at the front and Duckworth in the back, it could be backwards. So I mean, I think 2 songs could really be flipped. But
another thing.
But the thing I didn't like about this the most was like how many skippable tracks there are. I'm going through a track list right now. All right, Blood, cool, whatever. DNA, yeah. Element, feel. Loyalty, if I'm not really feeling around, I'll skip it. Pride, always a skip. Humble, sometimes a skip. Lust,
Really?
always a
Skip
skip. Pride? Was that the one with the like
That's
animal
like the one with,
samples?
like, the seagulls or whatever.
That wasn't awful, but I could skip it.
But, like,
Love, Lust, always skipping. Triple X, skipping. Fear, that's the best song on there in my opinion.
Really,
Even
a
with
good song.
I think
even
DNA is the best.
I'd say probably DNA or Element. I think those are the 2 best.
I just
off
think,
that.
I think Fear would hands down be the best for me if it didn't have that voicemail at the end where he's talking about how the African Americans are being treated poorly and their slavery and they're like how they're getting killed and all this because they're not being close with God. I thought that was really controversial and don't really agree with it. But other than that, I thought the track was great. How he's talking about his life and all that. It was so personal. And then God is, I hate God. I mean, no, wait, like, the song.
That's a good one.
Matt Sack hates God.
But
2018.
but I'd like to, I hate to cut off the discussion for that one, but we've discussed it for quite a while.
Yeah, so let's move on.
Probably
Wanna
move
go
on.
best albums?
Do you want to? Yeah, let's move over to
Or maybe
best albums.
best
Or we
or
could do
most
best-
surprising.
Let's do most surprising.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Let me think. You guys could go first if you have anything
So,
in mind.
probably most surprising, like in terms of being a actually decent album that I didn't think.
Oh,
I was
I got
gonna
one.
You dog
Oh, do you?
shit.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead.
No, throw it out.
Okay. Migos with Culture. I really like that album.
I do too.
Isn't that
And-
last year?
No, it's this year.
It dropped
January
January
27th.
It dropped January.
Late
and
January.
usually with a group
Oh, yeah,
that makes hits, they will be good for a month and they will burn out because we'll hear all them so much. We'll throw them on our playlist. We'll play them nonstop, and then they burn out. This one I've been bumping since January. This album has more songs on my playlist than any other album this year, except for maybe Brockhampton, all of them. But like I'm really not a huge fan of that trap, but I think they did it right. I really like that album actually.
Another album that I'd like to point out for being like a surprisingly good album would be Khalid's American Team.
I like that.
I thought that
I like that one.
I'm not a huge fan of like soft, almost kind of like an R&B type of feel to it.
That one was in my top 10.
Yeah, no, I agree, but it was like I wasn't ready for to be really enjoying such an album because that's just not the style of hip hop that I like or R&B. And when I listened to it, it was just it was so good. I thought Khalid was very good on the whole album overall. I thought a lot of the songs were very distinguished. I mean, he just did a very good job at making that album kind of pop in a way that his sound and his voice together, when mixed, just made for a colorful and easy to listen to album. Any others? You guys
Oh,
want to
another
start?
one. I don't know if anyone knows this. It's kind of more little bit. He's really low key. But Milo, Who Told You to Think?
Okay.
And the thing with him is he's always been really coded, and he's definitely more experimental. And I've never gotten him to click for me before. Because every time I listen to it, I'll give it 4 or 5, and it's really long and it feels drawn out, and just everything won't click for me. This one, like, sounded sonically a little bit better for me, so I was able to give it a few more listens, and then it just clicked, and all of a sudden I love it. So, yeah.
Another one that you really have to say was surprising in terms of taking a huge step, just a massive step forward. And even saying it's a long set list. 2 CDs is Big Crits.
Oh yeah.
Forever's a mighty long time. It's such Big Crit has had a lot of releases before this album.
This is his best album,
but
maybe not mixtape.
Yeah,
if you
or
compare
mixtape.
all of his projects,
But,
this is his best album.
He's just, this one, he seems really focused on what he wants to talk about, using Southern rap, and then on the second CD, talking about himself. So the first CD is a lot of, more or less,
It's Big Crit.
It's Big Crit. It's an very easy to listen to. You turn it on. You almost don't want to turn it off because you just like listening to the flows, and I think that the productions on it is very good.
That one does get weird though.
Yeah.
At some points, like with the CeeLo Green rapping feature, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
The thing is, this one almost feels like two
I was
different.
actually laughing there.
Which was he on the? He was on the first half of the album, right? The first CD.
I think so.
Yes, first CD.
But the thing I like about this the most is I could break this into 2 different albums. Like the first one feels. It's Big Crit. It's that Southern. He's rapping. He's spitting. What's the one with T.I.? Is that Big Bank?
Yeah, it's Big Bang.
And then you got
That's the one I still
and
listen
then
to.
Confetti is dope.
Confetti's pretty good.
And then there was the Sub 4 one. It was the 4th song. I forget what it was, like Subenstein or something like that.
Yeah.
But like he's rapping his ass off and he's doing really good. And then the second one, it's Justin Scott. It's not Bigger. It's Justin Scott. It's himself. He's going personal. It kind of slows down a little bit, and like it's really long. But I could feel like I could just listen to half of it and pick up the second half another time, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on too much.
Well, yeah,
So-
they're not really. They're kind of. I mean, they're obviously connected, but as a 2D CD track, they're not actually connected.
And it's diverse enough
Yeah.
where like if I wanted to listen to the whole thing through,
You get.
I'm not getting the same sound.
Yeah, that's something that I really thought was good about that album, was just the ability for Big Crit to kind of span all the lengths of music that he could possibly go into for himself. And he also, I mean, he used a lot of people's help on this album to make it the album that it was. And I think that in previous Big Crit albums, he's kind of been handicapped on himself by the people he's chosen to allow produce his albums, as well as help him write the tracks. And I just think that this time he did a really good job collabing with the people who he's working with. On to another album that I thought was very good and almost surprising to me. I had seen it on Matt and Ben's list, or I know I saw it on Matt's. I don't know if I saw it on Ben's, but The Iceberg by
Odyssey.
Yeah, no.
Oh
That
yeah,
one-
I love that
He
album
loves
so much.
it. I
Still hasn't really clicked.
I like that album a
never
lot.
got it to click for me.
I don't know, but it's
I've
just.
tried it so
Have you
many
heard
times.
any other Odyssey albums?
No, that's
He
my
goes
first one.
he goes back. His catalog is so big, and I don't think he has a bad album. He has a lot of really cool beat tapes, instrumental albums too. And it's just like I could listen to, like, I don't like instrumental albums to be honest, but like I could just listen to his beats without rapping, and it just sounds so good. And
Yeah.
this one, he actually had a live band play for him. That was his instrumentation. I just thought it was so dope.
Yeah, the
So
song.
like, it wasn't really surprising to me because I've been on him for a minute, but like, I'm glad he's finally getting some recognition because he is dope.
I had to, because I heard about it, and it was like something. He's not like a massive icon or anything
No.
in the rap world.
Yeah.
So when I first saw the album, I was like, well, it's pretty high up on your list. I'd give it a listen. So what I did before I listened to it is I gave a couple of his other albums a listen to, make sure I got kind of the point of what he was going through.
Yeah.
And then when I listened to it, then I was like, this is a very it's just good. I liked it. The track "Things" was one of my favorite
that's a
tracks
banger.
on there.
That's a banger,
It's a pretty good song that I liked. I think I added it to my playlist for like just kind of out of context car rides. It's just
Yeah.
I thought it was very good. Any other ones you want to throw in? the mix?
Not. I guess I'd never heard of him, but it was surprising how big of a wave they made. And this one's kind of obvious. It's Brockhampton.
Yeah.
How big of a freaking wave they made this year is insane. Where like no one's ever heard of them, and then all of a sudden they drop Saturation, and Fantano gives it a 9, and then they're saying, all right, there's another album in a month, and they drop that one, and 2 days after they drop that, they say there's gonna be a third one.
Fully living up to the name Saturation, by the way, just getting that sound out there.
That was their goal. Their goal is to oversaturate the
And
music.
you could not.
I don't care what anyone says. They own 2017. I think 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we're going to look back at 2017 and you're just going to think Brockhampton. Because they literally owed this year. They had 3 of the top, potentially 5 or 10 albums of the year. And, like, how you make, what they do in 6 or 7 months, how you make that much quality music in that short of time is just insane to me.
And I think the good thing with what they did with their promotional items was the way they released the tracks was getting out some singles.
Yeah.
And all of the singles they dropped really led well into the album, kind of giving you not really, I wouldn't say a scope of the album, because almost what they do in every album is midway through they change up. They do a lot of beat changes. They like to keep you on your toes. I mean, the one reason you can't, you have to pay attention to what you're listening to, because if you're listening to the album, you're going to hear a beat change up and there's going to be no one rapping, singing, or whatever. And you're not going to know maybe if they changed songs or if it's a new track or whatever. You have to pay attention. I mean, these guys...
The thing is, they have 7 different artists.
Yeah.
And all of
7
them...
rappers,
the way,
and not even 7 artists.
Yeah,
15
7
members.
rappers.
I think they have
12 to 16 members.
It's 15.
14.
Or 14. I thought it was 15. All right, well...
At least on Saturation.
Something like that. But then, each of them have 4 different vocal pitches. So now all of a sudden they have 28 different people rapping. And it's like...
Or singing,
just,
even, for the hooks.
Yeah, like Bareface sounds so good. But, just... What's that?
That happens. That comes up. It's just a scheme though.
No, I know. I like the person's name.
But like, just how like unprecedented their sound was, and how just like from lyric to lyric, it just sounds so diverse. And they go from one song where they're singing, and then the next one there's just like an absolute banger, and the next one it's just like chill and mellow, and like. They'll even do it like mid-song where they just switch it up, like Bump, where you got, who was that on the hook? Was that Matt Champion? But Bump, and then all of a sudden, was it Job on the hook?
I think so.
I don't remember who was on the hook. But Bump, and then all of a sudden they have like Merlin Wood rapping, and then Amir Van comes in, he just destroys a verse, and Don McClellan comes in and destroys the verse, and they got this nice soft hook. It's one of my favorite songs by them.
Yeah, Brockhampton was very good.
Their flexibility, like being able to start with the album with a banger and then just slowly changing it up throughout all these like beat changes, and then coming it into ending like with a mellow song, like Bleach on Saturation 3, or like Summer, anything like that. Just being able to cover all this ground.
And I think to an extent they stuck to like a certain
blueprint.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. But because they start off with a banger, and they'll go into a few more catchier songs, and then they'll get into a little more experimentation, and they end with singing, and like that's kind of like their blueprint. But like, you could throw on a Brockhampton song, and you know exactly which Saturation it came off of.
They all have kind of...
Because like even though like all of them will have like an absolute banger intro, you know which one came from which, because the second one's like a lot more rapping, the third one almost sounds like more of like a dance feel good album, and the first one's just a lot more experimental. But like, I just love how they were able to make that much music, make it that they can make that much music, they can make it that diverse, and they can just have that much quality all in 1 year in this short amount of time. It's insane to me.
Yeah, so another person who kind of surprised me, I like one of his other albums, but I thought this was a pretty good album by its standards of even off of his. But Joey Badass, with All American Badass, I thought was very good album. I thought that he, used not only his ability to rap, but he kind of has one song on there with the hook, and I thought that was very good. And I just overall really liked the project. Easy to listen to.
I didn't like it at first because he came in.
I never really liked it.
But the thing is,
I have it really low on my list. So.
He's talking about all these political issues. It's like Black Lives Matter stuff, and you think Joey Badass, and you're literally thinking of a badass. So you look at like Before the Money in 1999, like this guy like goes hard, and I was expecting him to go hard. I was like expecting him to like make fucking diss tracks towards Trump and stuff, and he kind of just comes in, and it's like Temptation and what's Devastated. It's just really slow. And I'm just kind of like, what are you doing? But the more I'm listening to it, it's like, all right, it's not like the Malcolm X, but it's more of the Martin Luther King, where he's like peacefully revolting. Like, he's making like songs that are able to be put on the radio that are having positive messages, and I thought that was just really cool. I was able to do that. So it's been moving up on my list. It started really low, but it's been moving up ever since.
All right, so it's kind of to end off 2017 discussion that we've had here.
There's one more I want to mention that surprised me, not in a good way, in how it disappointed me. Is this yours?
No, this one.
Okay. In a way that disappointed me was Gorillaz Humans.
Oh, that's
that
interesting.
one. I was really hyped for it because when they dropped all the 4 singles, I'm like, wow, this is gonna be really good with like Andromeda, their mellow tune, and Saturn's Bars being like their kind of feel good and kind of bangery song.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is gonna be good. And then I got the album, and like, I've heard this all already in these 4 singles. There's nothing special about the rest of the stuff that dropped with this album. But they came out after about a month after it was out or something like that, and they dropped another mellow song.
Sleeping Powder?
Sleeping Powder, yeah. And that one was really good. I'm like, okay.
That was really cool.
They just got me on this like kind of wavelength of like, oh, this is good. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, this is good. I don't like this, because they're showing all their good stuff. They're playing their cards too early. They're not kind of just doing a slow burn with it. And I guess that's good, but like when there's the highs, there's also the lows, rather than just one straight line of just, oh, this is Gorillaz, this is who I know. And I feel like they've gone off in the wrong direction of where they should be going. Like, they made some big change-ups in their kind of style in Plastic Beach, while, like, with introducing more kind of well-known features like Snoop Dogg and everyone like that.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, don't make fun of my accent.
Dog.
And, what was I saying? Oh, yeah.
Probably switched it up.
But yeah, they've been evolving constantly, and each album they have has its own tone. But you see on Humans, it's just a mishmash of like, yeah, don't make fun of my wording. I know you're laughing at mishmash.
He knew it right after he said it.
Mishmash.
A mishmash of confused...
Mishmash?
Mishmash, okay. Confused tones. Confused tones of what they want. They don't know what
Don't spike it.
He's gonna have to cut it now. Look how loud it is. Someone with the headphones is gonna die. Oh my god. Yeah, but
The thing with that album. Oh, I forgot what I was about to say.
Hurry up.
Wait,
and
was
wrap
this
up.
was this their comeback from Plastic Beach, or was there
Yes.
something in between that?
They had... I think they had a live album, but I don't really consider that one of their
And Plastic
main
Beach was 2011, right?
Yeah,
right?
right? Wasn't it?
Something like that.
I
I'll
feel
look it
like
up right
to
now.
me, I feel
It's
like
been a lot
I feel
of
like
years,
they forced a comeback to me. It's like oh, there's gonna be a new Gorillaz album, and it just kind of it felt a little forced. To me.
Yeah, Plastic Beach was
2010.
2010,
Sorry.
early 2010.
Yeah.
Along with The Fall. They had 2 albums in 2010, and they were both
very good.
alright.
Oh,
Plastic
But
Beach is
I think
probably my favorite.
Plastic
album.
Beach is good.
No, my favorite is Demon Days by far.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, so let's move on
What do we
to
have next?
our top 3 albums of the year.
Top 3 albums of the year.
I'm gonna cut you short of your top 50, 105 that you can spare us the time.
I only heard 100.
I am gonna do actually top 4 because there's one more I want to.
All right, well, top 5.
Wait, I'll do top 3 because someone else is gonna make a different list.
All right, do top 5.
And I'm gonna
do top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah, just go for it.
All right, top 5, and I'm only gonna include one Brockhampton just so
It's easier.
I just grouped together
just
all
so
the
they're not
songs.
over half my top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5. 5 I have JID with the Never Story.
Yeah.
Number
I like that
4 I have Joyner Lucas 508 507 2209.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 I have Odyssey with the Iceberg. Number 2 I have Open Mike Eagle, Brick Body Kids, Still Daydream, and number 1 I have Brockhampton Saturation Trilogy.
Yeah. Ben, so you're...
Oh, for me, while doing the same thing, while grouping all saturation together, I'm gonna have number 3, Open Mike Eagles, Brick Body Kids, Still Daydream, as you said. And then
Yeah.
a very similar list to yours. My number 2 is Joanna Lucas, 50507 2209. And then, of course, number 1 is the Brockhampton trilogy.
That's too easy.
I don't know.
I imagine yours is something similar to that.
I bet it's good. That is in the top five.
Mine was gonna be number 5 was gonna be Joyner Lucas.
Okay, we're not talking about number 5. We're talking
I
about
gave him 5.
I got 5.
Oh, I got 5? Okay.
You can do a 4 and 5 if you want. I did
Okay,
5.
4.
Yeah, he did. I told him 5.
My number 4 was Logic's Everybody. And then my number 5 was Khalid, American Dream.
Okay.
Yeah, so my
Is
5.
it Khalid?
I say Khalid.
It's not Khalid.
I don't know
I
which
think
one it
it's
is.
Khalid.
I don't know. So my 5 was Joyner Lucas.
Yep.
My 4 was The Iceberg. My 3 was JID's The Never Story. My 2 was Open Mike Eagle, and then my 1 was The Saturation Project.
We all the same list pretty much.
Yeah, it was.
That's
it
pretty
wasn't
cool.
a whole way off.
That's pretty cool.
I mean,
I guess we all listen to the same stuff, so that's not too crazy.
it's enjoyable for the same viewing purposes, I
And,
guess.
yeah, nothing like diverse that we each individually liked. Like last year came out, like we had Black Star, which I was really into David Bowie.
Oh yeah.
And Saint Motel.
Saint Motel.
And
I
Danny,
really
Danny
like
Brown
Saint
was
Post
the.
Malone. We had all that last year. And
Yeah.
that's all stuff that I'm super into that I don't think you guys are that much into.
And I
I
had
like
Danny
the
Brown,
Post
which
Malone.
I would argue none of you
Danny
would
Brown.
enjoy.
I
That's
like Danny
really.
Brown.
Oh really?
I
Yes.
like
Because that's really experimental.
the
Yeah.
one with Kendrick.
Oh really though?
Really dope.
Really though. Like,
All right,
really
so
though.
to finish off, we'll go into our anticipation. What are you anticipating most, or what collabs or singles could you look
I
forward?
actually made a
to
list
most?
of things I'm really looking
Dude.
forward to, and one of them, they're both in my top 5, and there's another one in my top 25, I think.
Okay.
It's newer artists that either had their debut or broke out this year, and it is JID,
Yeah.
who
I
had his
wanna listen to some more
debut
of those.
album this year. Joyner Lucas, who still doesn't have an album. I'm pretty sure 508 was just a mixtape. And IDK, who came out with I Was Very Bad this year. And I think all 3 of them are really creative, really diverse, and really they're I think they have potential to do some really good stuff. Like I wouldn't mind. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw those 3 in like top 5 MCs in a couple of years from now, just because of their capabilities. And another thing I'm really looking forward to, and I might be getting way out of line with this because I know it's not going to happen, but if we could get some Kanye, either producing
Yeah.
Cudi or his
Can we
solo
get
album
Cruel
or Cruel
Winter?
Winter.
That was
Hey,
supposed to come out a year and a half ago.
Hey,
Oh my
it's okay.
God.
We're not gonna ask for more from.
And then they go like a
Kanye
month ago, and they're like,
because-
"Oh yeah, we got it halfway done."
wow,
When they said they're gonna come out with
It's
it last May or
yeah.
April or something like
It was.
that.
I think the one thing about Kanye is his goal is hype, and it's due to his persona. So
Well,
I
you've
mean,
also got the rumors floating around of a Yeezus 2.
yeah, that's
And
no
there's
offense
so many
to
different
you,
Kanye albums
but I
floating out right now.
with
and none
this-
of them are like halfway done.
I would dislike it if he came out with the Yeezus 2, just because I didn't think that was one of his top 5, and I think there's some other albums
That's
that.
for me.
I think there's some other albums I'd prefer him to try and revamp.
But that's not
almost
the thing
with
that
the backup.
Kanye does. He's like, every album has its own tone. I think it would be
Yeah.
kind of
I think
different for him to make a album that's meant to be a sequel to something he's already done.
That's why I think.
So
Well,
go-
if you could do that, due to
you hear a
my
Con-
beautiful Dark Twisted
yeah.
Fantasy, I would prefer.
he's not going back to.
Yeah, he's not gonna go back to any
It's
of his past tones.
Yeezus, TLOP, Watch the Throne from here.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. It'll be interesting. But another person, like you said, another person who we
It's
got
the old
the 3
Kanye.
albums, we got 3 albums from this year. It's again Brockhampton.
Yeah, Team
as
Effort?
long as
Team effort.
as long as they
Team- yeah.
stay together and continue.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called
Team effort. As long as they continue to stay together and none of them back out of the group, and as long as they can,
Choma.
as long as they can
Choma.
continue to produce music, I think it's basically they're going to continue to own the rap game from now until basically. It depends. As long as they stick to the style, almost not necessarily the blueprint that they've had, because now that they're off of this,
I don't know what they're. I think they're gonna get way off.
Yeah,
We were
we
Set
were
on
talking about that the
saturation.
other day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope for the sake that they continue to make good, very good music. Hopefully, Team Effort's a good album. since that's supposed to come. Really anticipating the Kid Cudi and Kanye mix.
Yeah.
I really like Kid Cudi, just as his own artist, and Kanye West. Obviously, Kanye West has great.
I think Kanye's got some big stuff coming because
Yeah.
like with
Didn't
all
he-
this
Didn't he
news
lock himself
flooding-
away?
Yeah,
Yeah,
relatively
he's been-
quiet.
He's been quiet, and I feel like he's just gonna explode with a bunch of new stuff like next year because he got the news that's also come out that his label is all of the artists on his label are gonna be produced by him now, and
Yeah.
I think it's just be crazy. I think we're gonna be seeing a lot more of him in the coming years. If not 2018, definitely 2019.
You
What?
spiked it when you went like whacked it
Okay,
down the
I'm
table.
sorry. I won't whack the can on the table.
Another thing I'm looking forward to is I'll actually get one out of the way because I know neither one of you are gonna want it. But Rosebud's Revenge 2 by Rock Marciano. He dropped one this year and it was really good. But another one I'm looking forward to is Astro World by Travis Scott
Mhm.
because I didn't think he was too good on what was it called?
Thieves in the Trap.
No. The one that dropped his collab.
Oh,
Oh,
Hunter
which one?
Jack Huncho.
That one. I think
Huncho.
I like
Hunter.
it more over the darker production, and I think this production was too Quavo-y and
I thought it was-
upbeat.
yeah,
and
it's-
There were some Travis Scott songs.
I
that
just-
there
the-
were, and those were my favorite
Yeah.
ones.
The issue with that-
if you get,
Moonrock.
if
Yeah.
you get a whole album of that, that's some.
The issue with
Top
that
5 of
track
the year
was
stuff.
that they tried to mix each other's sounds, which don't
Yeah,
necessarily
no.
go well together, and it kind of made the overall album bland and kind of tough to listen. I mean, it wasn't not tough to listen to. I should say
It just made it sound all the
it
same.
it made it very much a consistently even sound that was kind of bland, sounded like monotone almost because all the tones were they were just blending together and not in a good way. They were just
Yeah.
like all consumed by this overall Quavo sound, which Quavo on his own, you see him, he's a pretty good MC, I think. He adds some pretty good verses on his own or with other people. But, I mean, he's also on quality control with, I want to say, is that Yachty who runs quality control with him?
Yeah, QC. Yeah.
And I thought that was another album that I just think was not a good collab album.
But so LP usually releases an album every 5 years, and his last one was Cancer for Cure in 2012. So since he didn't release anything in 2017 as far as solo project, I'm really hoping they got RTJ4 coming. And I know it was like that's basically a 2017 album because at the time it came out it was so late. But by the way, RTJ3 would be my number one if it dropped this year, but I don't include it.
But it was, 6
Well,
days
because
off? From
7
you?
days off.
7 days.
I'm just saying that because we already gave our top 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping LP is working on some RTJ4 stuff, and that's why he didn't do his solo stuff.
Yeah, that'd be some pretty good music to get
Oh,
to.
and one more collab. The talks kind of blew up earlier this year again. Was the what's it called? The J. Cole Kendrick collab.
I feel like that's going to be interesting. I don't know how their rapping styles are going to...
But,
J.
like,
Cole's a
Talks-
really...
Talks on like
Talks went away for a minute. They haven't. I remember they dropped the Black Friday stuff, and was it 2015?
Yeah.
And then
Was
they
that 2015? I thought that was 2016. I thought it was the end
But it
of
was
2016.
quiet. It was quiet for a minute, and then all of a sudden they kind of blew up again this year, where they're talking
with
about.
the one song American Dream with
Yeah.
on Jeezy.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're leaning towards, right?
Mhm.
And then, I mean, we'll
What
have,
about
What about Chance and Childish Gambino?
that'll be a good project.
But I don't think that's gonna be. I think it's gonna be more 2019,
Yeah.
something like that.
What about MGMT? You have
Oh, I wish they would tell us something because
They did, but we couldn't decode it.
yeah, they're just being so cryptic about everything. I don't think even they know when they're gonna. It's going. I think it is. Yeah, it's still going. I don't think even they know
Let's spike it.
when they're dropping this because they came out with amazing singles like
Yeah, for sure.
When You Die. I still listen. Well, still it's only been out like a.
Was that the one that dropped the same day
That
as
was the one that's
Boogie?
the same day as Boogie, and
Yeah.
that was a great day because I like both the songs.
I only listen
And
to those
I
two
literally
songs
made a
all day.
playlist called "When You Boogie" of just those two songs, and I listened to them all day. Where did Connor go?
Bathroom probably.
Of just those two songs, and I just like them so much. And then Little Dark Age, the title track of this supposed album they're coming out with, called also titled Little Dark Age, is gonna be. It was just something that was so good with all the roaring synths on it, and the music videos they came out with, of course, in the usual MGMT style. They are just something that make them show lots of potential and this good things that they have coming, and it's just they've been so quiet about all this that I don't even know what they're doing, and I hope
if that's the case, they probably don't know what they're doing.
yeah, because they literally go like, if you saw some of the stuff on that's been on their Twitter, like a few months back, they're like why they just seem so confused about what they're doing, and in a humorous way, but like I just feel, and I thought I read somewhere that they're supposed to come out with Little Dark Age in the last year in 2017. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be something on my top 5. It's gonna challenge like Saturation and all that, like for what I like the most. And then just nothing happens, and it got bumped back to 2018. So hopefully this will be the album that headlines my 2018 if it comes out sometime soon. It'll be the bar setter, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for that we'll let that end off the notes of what we thought of 2017, our anticipations for 2018.
Yep.
And when are you gonna put this out?
Someday.
So
we'll shoot for posting stuff on Sundays. We're not going to really commit to a schedule because we all have really different schedules.
pretty much. I don't know how different. We all do the same thing.
Yeah, we all do the same thing.
We have really different schedules, man. It's the fact that we all do the exact same thing.
I'm just saying I don't want to commit to like, do this one day a week. It'll probably be like
one day a week,
something like every other week
or every other week,
every third week, something like that.
Or if something important pops out, we'll find a way to do it.
We'll find a way to make this happen. But we are the Campfire. I'm Ben Williams. Follow me at Noting Music on Twitter.
I don't know what my ad is. I gotta find it.
You're like,
am I at
so many underscores in your name.
Do I really?
What about you, Connor?
I'm Connor. You don't have to follow me on Twitter. I don't need any.
Okay.
Yeah, he's bad at Twitter. Don't follow him.
It's a music Twitter. It's not hard to be bad at. Or it's not.
You can probably
I'm not
find
bad
it
at
through my Twitter.
Yeah, you could just look on Ben's. It'll be there. It's under my name, so.
My name's Matt. Twitter at Matt_Sack_. So it's MATT_SAK_.
So yeah.
No caps.
Yeah. Subscribe to us if you're listening to us on or watching us on YouTube rather, or follow us on SoundCloud. And if there's, leave some questions in the comments below. If there's anything you'd like to see us talk about in a future episode, we'll probably talk about because we need stuff to talk about. But,
yeah.
And stuff to also note that if you want to see shorter videos, more concise about just specific topics and more specific albums for that matter, and almost like almost like weekly roundups, I would say. I don't know if we'll be doing that individually or as a group team.
I think that's like
deal.
Yeah, we still have to figure that all out.
We'll be deciding that in a recent time or soon time.
And if there's any like suggestions you want to see that we add to the show, or like media you want to see it on, or like anything else like that, just let us know in the comments. We're still pretty early. We're just learning our way around this stuff. So we'll do our best to make it work.
All
right. See y'all. It's the Campfire.
For the Campfire.
Signing out.
All right. So yeah, mine all through getting Snapchat. My phone bricks when Snapchat comes through. For whatever reason, it'll stop the recording.